Which of the following contains a secondary amine? So in order to approach this problem, we need to make sure that we first understand a little bit of terminology. So the simplest amine compound that we could have would be NH3 or ammonia. And a molecule could still be classified as an amine even if one or all of those hydrogens were replaced with carbon groups. So if we replace one of those hydrogens with a bond to carbon, and I'm going to use R for a generic carbon group, we would have a molecule that looks like this. We could also replace two of the hydrogens with carbon groups and it would still be an amine. So we could have something that looks like this, and those carbon groups could be the same or maybe they could be different. So I'll use a little symbol here to indicate that that R might be different. And we could even replace all three with carbon groups. So we might have something that looks like this. And again, those R groups might be the same, two of them might be the same, or maybe they might even all be different, and that would still be an amine. Which brings us back to the terminology down here, secondary amine. So if we have an unsubstituted amine, it is just ammonia. If we have substituted one of those hydrogens with a carbon group, this is known as a primary amine, also given that symbol. So that is an amine with one bond to carbon. If we have replaced two of the hydrogens with bonds to carbon, so we have two carbons attached to our nitrogen, then that is a secondary amine. And finally, if we have replaced all three of those bonds to hydrogen with bonds to carbon, then this is known as a tertiary amine. So we're just going to go down to our options and we're going to apply all of these definitions. And so if we look on our first molecule, our nitrogen has just one bond to carbon. So that is an example of a primary amine. If we look at option B, we can see our nitrogen has two bonds to carbon. And those two carbon groups are different, but that's fine. If it's got two bonds to carbon, then that is a secondary amine. So that is the answer to our question, but we're going to keep on going. If we look at option C, we can see that that nitrogen has 1, 2, 3 bonds to carbon, so that is a tertiary amine. And if we look finally at option D, we can see from our nitrogen we have just one bond to carbon, and so that is a primary amine.